the first topic of question I wanted to go over was, so like, what are some of the most challenging things that you went through, like when we were coming up through elementary, middle, high school, and then, you know, just how you handled those?
I would say, well, the most challenging was stuttering.
Mhm.
So I stutter, so it's like as a kid, you don't really understand what that means. Like, of course, your parents are trying to explain it to you. Hey, you fumble up your words, you get stuck. But at that point in the world, what 2000, early 2000s, you don't really have access to information like that. So we basically gone off what they think they know.
Mhm.
So even to this day, with all the information we have now, there's still no cause for stuttering. They don't know why it happens, what causes it, you know, what differentiates how often you have a, what do you like to call it? It's like getting caught. They don't really call it stuttering. So
It's not that technical
yeah,
term,
yeah,
but
it's all the technical terms. It's slipping my mind right now, but yeah, it's like how frequently those occur. They don't have information. They just don't.
And it was always like that for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. So as far as I can remember, I don't even remember when I talked before I stuttered. So as far as I can remember, I've always stuttered. So, but my parents, they're like, yeah, you just started stuttering until you were like 3 or 4. And when we noticed it, it was different because you would say something and then we would look at it and be like, did he just? And then as you would get frustrated because you couldn't get it out. And then it was like, I guess as a kid, over talking, I would try to rush through my sentences and get it out. And I guess as a kid, that's how you could tell. Because whenever I get excited, I get, I wouldn't say nervous, but I guess when I get flustered, you can tell because I have a lot more occurrences, I would say. So yeah, as a kid, you know, that's hard because you can't explain that to other kids. Like,
Yeah.
why does he do that with when he talks? Why does that happen? You just like, I don't know. I just
I'll say this, like, I've learned over the years, kids are the devil.
Kids
like,
are brutal.
Kids are
brutal because kids don't know how to lie. And kids don't know no better. So, you know, you got kids, you like, you know, I'm trying to say my name, and J is one of my like trouble letters. So just saying Jalen Lewis, you know, it messes with me as a kid because I'm like, why can't I say my name? Why can't I just talk normal? And it's like, you know, they call it a roll and they're like, you don't know your name? And I'm like, and then, you know, it's crazy as a kid, you know, because it's some adults who have never encountered stuttering in their life. So, you know, that they say it, and adults, they don't mean no harm. They're like, oh, you forgot your name? It's like, that's a common joke. And it's like, as a kid, you like,
no,
I was and it's like, you don't know how to deal with that as a kid.
Yeah.
So looking back, I'm like, dang, all this stuff, you know, as a kid, that's like crushing, that's defeating. Like, you feeling like the kids looking, you already know all eyes on you immediately as soon as you have it. So you like, might as well just get through it. And then the teacher now, she come, you okay? Is everything okay? He's like,
now bringing more attention.
yeah. So now it's like, now people come to you asking, hey man, you know, I really like you. I think you're cool. You got that sympathy friends, I would say. People coming over, hey man, you're really cool. If anything's wrong, just like, I'm normal. I just stutter. Like, not to say anybody's different or anything, but I mean normal in that sense. But you know, there's nothing wrong with me. I talk differently than you do. And you know, something somebody taught me, a speech language pathologist actually is, nobody has perfect speech. So according, like, speech language pathologists, speech professionals will tell you, there is nobody in the world that has perfect speech. Everybody has their certain breakages, certain stoppages. It just sounds different. Stuttering is just, it occurs a lot more often.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when you look at the world like that, as an adult, it's like, okay, now I can deal with it a little bit better. But as a kid, you just like, why don't I talk normal? Why am I not normal? Everybody else can at least talk. Like, that's the most basic of human things. So as a kid, when you feel like, I'm not even human. Like, as a kid, it's a weird question because you don't really know what you're saying, but it's like, why can't I talk correctly? That was one of the toughest things growing up with as a kid.
That makes sense. I know for myself, which now that you say it, I'm trying not to do this, like, 2 things that I do habitually. When I was younger, I had one that was really bad, and I corrected it just forcefully over time. Because, you know, during the week and on the weekends, we have our different Bible studies, and part of it is the public speaking part. So in our public speaking book, it has different things on how to correct your speech and how to work on certain things. So I would really go into that because I would get
see,
nervous, and that's what made me start tripping up.
See, my dad taught me that. It was different tools with public speaking where he was like, you don't have to use the tools just because they're public speaking tools. You don't have to use them just for public speaking. Use them when you're talking regularly too. Like the whole trick where if you're talking to a crowd, don't look at nobody. Find a spot on the wall and look right above their head. So like, I don't look people in their eye. I'm looking right next to your eye. So you think I'm talking to you, but I'm really looking past you, and that's only because stuttering, I don't have any control of it, but I can feel when I'm about to get stuck. So it's like, it's interesting to think of how my speech pattern actually is because of how I created it to be based around stuttering. Like my speech pattern is created so that I can hide my stuttering so well that a lot of people don't know until I tell them, and they're like, I knew something was.
So could you explain that a little bit more?
It's like
what does it mean when you tried to hide? Like, what does that mean?
So it's like if I know I'm about to get caught on a word, I'll say the first letter, and when I feel it stuck, I switch the word. Like, and then a lot of times, I'm pretty smart. My vocabulary is pretty extensive. I'll fake like I don't know a word because I know I'm going to get stuck on it, and hoping that what if you like, and you like a golf club with it. Golf club, yeah. It's like a lot of things. Like to me, it's every conversation is a game. Like, okay, how can I get through this conversation? Can I get through this conversation without you finding out I stutter? Go. It's like, okay, what words? I know what words I can say. I know what words I can say. I know what words I should say, and I know what I can't do in a conversation. If I get nervous, I'm done.
Okay.
So,
so like you said that you had to switch the word. Is that So it could be any random word during while you're talking, but for you trained yourself to say this stopping right there and just going to something else. So
it's an art into like I've been able to like stutter like there's certain things when I get stuck on the beginning of a word where I'll just hold the beginning and it's like I can't get the starting note out. I've gotten to the point where I know how to do that, but lower the volume where you can't even hear the first like you don't even hear that because I'm doing it silently. And then when I can feel the word coming, raise the volume and you hear it. Yeah, and they're like,
my misunderstanding about stuttering was that it's gonna happen no matter what at a certain point. It wasn't no matter what word.
No, because as you seen, if you paid attention, I haven't stuttered yet.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's basically like I know how to talk. It's about speed. I just have to stay slower. My mind is going a lot faster than my mouth can go. So if I get ahead of myself, I'm gonna trip over the words. So that's I just have to talk. A lot of it is slowing down, just slowing myself down because my mouth can't keep up with as fast as in here. So, a lot of people are like, they're like, can you control stuttering? And it's like, not really. I can't force myself to stutter, but I know what it sounds like, so I can fake it. So, it's just, like I said, for me, it's become a game now as an adult. But as a kid, it's just like, you just trying to survive. Like, how do I get through this conversation without you telling the whole school I can't talk? So, and then where we went to high. Ghetto girls. You stuttered to the wrong person from Southside, and now you that little stutter for the rest of your high school career.
That's all you gonna be.
Yeah. So, and
God forbid you start trying to flame each other back and
forth.
And
now you know me. You know how we talk. All right, bro, you got it. You win. You win. I lost. It's okay. Like that's how it goes. So a lot of things like. Even on that tip, like a lot of times I'll think, how would my life look if I didn't stutter? Like, would I be who I am now, or am I who I am today because I've modeled my life around how do I hide my stuttering? So it's like even in trash talking, like I can drag trash talking out, but I don't because the longer I go, the longer I risk the chance of stuttering, and you automatically win. So people ask, why do I trash talk so harshly? I try to kill you with the first thing. If I do it early, I can't stutter. I only got to say one thing. Now you want to fight. Now everybody gonna hold you back. We gonna go home. I won. That's it. Nobody wants to fight for real.
Go for the quick kill.
Yeah, nobody wants to fight for real. And then learning that. I think that one of the things it led me to do was learn people so much. In the sense that I can pick up on a lot of things just by body language, just by looks, just by tone of voice, picking up on different inflections of how you say things, what you really mean by what you just said to me. So, I think it didn't really stop me from being a kid, but it kind of, I don't know. It was just about surviving in a sense at that point. Like just being able to get through the day without. Every day was like I got to wake up and go in enemy territory because at any point, at any given time, I could stutter to anybody. And now, you stutter. Something wrong with him. He got this. You know where we grew up, where we went to school at. So you know if that hits the streets next 3 weeks, that's who you are.
Yeah.
So,
as a kid, that feel like fun.
That's devastating. Yeah. So you know, and these people, it ain't like this school year is over. I ain't gonna never see them next year. Like, I'm gonna see y'all till we graduate. It's only 7th grade, 6th grade. So the whole 10, 15 minutes, every 2 or 3 words. And by me hiding it, it's even worse because I didn't let it out. I stopped it, flipped it to this word, stopped it, flipped it to that word. And then, you know, I'm telling you, okay, so it's turned into a master of disguise. There's certain things I do simply because I need you to think I'm not stuttering. Yeah. So there's something, I'll say something, I'm like, yeah, you know, it's not a real cough. I was about to stutter and I need to switch the word. I couldn't stop because you was going to hear me. So I coughed.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I just flip it and it's like, now that's it. It makes me think is the way I think, like approach a conversation. I know that's not how everybody else approaches it. So would I be different if I didn't stutter? It makes you like.
I remember in elementary school, you and a couple of our other friends, y'all would go to speech.
Yeah, Levi Chemulak.
Yep. What he had a list?
It was just Levi's accent was so heavy.
Yep.
You know.
Which I don't know why they even had him in that class because like it wasn't anything wrong with the way that he spoke. Which I don't know if it was just the teachers that did that or if it's something that they wanted so that he could be more acquainted with or adapt better.
Because he did. It was like he knew perfect English. It was just I think people didn't want to take the time to actually like listen. Because accents aren't hard. If you just listen, you can pick up on.
I mean, I grew up with him. Since
it's like I knew what Levi was. Yeah, I rode the bus with Levi every morning till he moved. So it was like that was my dog. So that was interesting in itself. Mm-hmm. Like leaving class to go to speech. I didn't think nothing of it as a kid. It was just like, shit, I get to leave class. I don't care. I was happy back then. But looking back on it, it was like. Were they really teaching me tools, like giving me tools to actually help me?
So I've never asked you like, so what? If I did, I don't know if we even really went over it, but like, so what did you actually do or learn in class?
We played different games. We read different things to just like try to practice like different techniques on how to not stutter, how to, I guess like get through a conversation without stuttering. I guess how to control it in a sense. That's basically what they were trying to teach, and back then, you know, as a kid, you're thinking, back then the stigma was you could stop stuttering if you stop before 21. Fun fact, not true. Not true for men. For women. Women have up until 21. My cousin actually stuttered and she stopped, like completely, like stopped at about 15. But women, as a man, if you stutter past 9, that's it. You're done for life.
Really?
Yeah.
They taught you that? They didn't teach you that in speech class?
No. I learned that as an adult. Like
okay.
I have
like, dang, they were you was
No,
I have Jalen, you only have 2 more years left, buddy. You gotta get it together.
No. As I've grown up, I've done my own research into it. You know, now with the access to information, you can talk to specialist professionals like that. So from the information I've gotten from them, it's just been that as a male, once you hit 9, I believe it's 9. Please don't hold me to this because I don't remember exactly, but I know it's way before 21. As a male, if you stutter past 9, I believe that's it. You have it. Like you stutter for the rest of your life. As a woman, 21, I believe, and you're good. And I've seen women. My mom used to stutter actually, and she broke it before she was 21. And my cousin stuttered, and she broke it about 15. So you know, as a kid, you're hoping, is this gonna be the year? Every birthday. I don't think that's something I've never ever talked about either. Every birthday, it's like, I'm 12, okay. This is gonna be my last year stuttering, cool. I'm 13, okay, this is gonna be my last year stuttering. I'm 17, this is gonna be my last year stuttering. I'm 20, I got 1 year left. This is gonna be my last year stuttering. I'm 21. I'm gonna stutter the rest of my life.
So like when you were first thinking that, okay, I still got a couple more years left, or a couple more months left, when it finally hit that you was 20 or 21, did that really bother you like that? Or by that time, did you just finally accept, like, you know what, this is just
I was in a better place of acceptance. I was more self-aware Then due to an organization called A Baby Collegiate Group, shout out to my dogs. They teach about self-awareness and being self-aware. And one of the things we did, it was a introspective experience where the people we came into the organization with, we go around and we talk about like our deepest, darkest things, and it's just bringing awareness to it. So in the sense of, if I know what your problem is and you know what your problem is, I can help you without you needing to ask because I know the problem is. Or, if I know what the problem is and I can see that you're too scared to ask, now it's not like me waiting on, like, I don't have no information. I do have a little inkling of what you've been through. So, so back just then, that taught me to accept things and to talk about things.
You went to that group based off your studying problem or other
No,
problems?
that was just honestly, I went to it. I needed an organization for, because I'm a noob. So,
Okay.
you got to have the organizations on campus to, organizations on campus to put on the application. So I went into it. This is just going to be an organization for that. But then I actually started, getting into the organization and reading what they're about, buying into it. Their founder, Brian Kirk White, he went to UC Columbia, and meeting him, talking to him, and having a conversation with him, and it's just, you ever talk to somebody and their vision just clicks, mm-hmm. You like, I should stay near them. I should stay with whatever they have going on, because that's where I want to go. They're headed in the direction that I want to go. They're teaching me something that I've never heard, but it sounds like I need it. So that self-awareness taught me that if you're not aware of your problems, how do you deal with them? Mm-hmm. How do you, figure out a way to work through them, to live with them? So it was about that time, about around that time, that was when I was becoming like, I was at that time I was telling people I stutter. Like, people catch on, be like, yeah, I stutter. And they would be like, how is it? And I was like, really go into it with people I've never met. And it was like, that was a time of where I was just, I don't know, it was a different time. I wouldn't say it bothered me that I was going to stutter for the rest of my life, but I think at that point I was in a place where I could accept it. Like, okay, it doesn't take anything from me. It doesn't dim my light or change who I am. Like, you aren't your circumstances. You aren't the cards that you're dealt. So, it was either I could sit here and wallow in, yeah, I stutter, or I could be the greatest person that stuttered to ever live. Like, so, it's really all about your perspective. And, that is truly the thing that I think kind of set things for me to be okay. Just how you look at everything, your perspective. I could look at it as I stutter and, it holds me back from everything, or I stutter and it gives me an edge because you don't. Mm-hmm. So this is very interesting.
What do you think helped you the most? Was it like, I don't know if your friend group was like, I don't know, we were very helpful. I know we were real short of time about it, but we never meant you any harm, because it's just like, okay, he's
we was kids.
It is what it is. Like, we never gonna exclude him for anything. People feel gonna be for different things.
I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. So it's funny as kids because, as a kid, you don't know that, you're my friend because you pick on me. Like, we talk trash to each other because you're one of my best friends. Like, for me, I was very socially awkward in the sense that the picking on me, I could take it to a certain extent. And then I felt like once certain things got brought up, I was like, okay, this ain't fun for me no more. You don't like me. You really don't like me. So as a kid, a lot of times it was like, the joking and stuff was cool until a certain period, and then I would get messed up. And that lasted until almost, like, honestly, until we graduated. And it was one day between the summer of senior year and going to college, one of our friends, Craig, actually said something in the group message, and I blew up about it. And he was like, I'm not coming at you, I'm your friend. And I was like, I went back and read it, and I was like, I was tripping. So,
it'll take you a while to like, hold on, you know what?
Yeah, like, because, was
it like a quick, like, hey, man, okay,
as a kid, you're still going through all the, who is really my friend, because everybody's picking on you. You don't know what's good picking on you is bad. So, and being the stuttering, I'm always on alert. Are these people really my friend, or do they just like me because I'm an easy target to stutter? Like, they got ammo all the time. Yeah. So, it took me a while, man, to be in college where just being in a different environment where I didn't have that friend group to see every day. It was like, we didn't talk that first semester, but it was like, dang, I don't have my support system. Like that was y'all were my support system, and I didn't realize that for a long time. Until I fell into depression. Actually, we'll get into that. But I think that forced me to look at who has really been here. Like when I needed a shoulder to lean on, when I needed a laugh, when I was down, who was there, and it made me like kind of look over my childhood. Like, dang, these people have been here at every turn, and all the times I thought they were digs at me, like digging to my side, it was just friends being friends, and it was like them showing me like, you know, I love you. And as growing up, as we got older and going through things, that honestly has brought us closer. Being the one of the more self-aware friends, because everybody has their different roles in a friend group. Everybody isn't gonna do the same thing. You have some friends. I know I talk to him about girls because he gonna feel where I'm coming from. It's gonna be other friends that's gonna be like, what? Find another one. So every friend has their different roles. So just being a friend that was self-aware and able to come talk about certain things, like not be scared to talk about things, like, bro, it's okay to cry, like it's okay to say you nervous, say you scared, like being that friend for the people that like, I guess in a way not trying to repay it, but this is what you did for me. You helped me when I was down. Y'all don't know it, but when I was in my darkest place, y'all were my laughs. Y'all were my comfort zone. So this is how I can help y'all. If you need somebody to talk to, bro, we can talk about anything. Just don't tell me if you did anything illegal or if you killed nobody, because I'm not trying to be an accessory. But, anything. You call me 3 a.m, we could talk about music just because, you was having a rough night and, whatever you're going through. Like, people think, people put the stigma on men, like, you can't do this, you can't do that because y'all men. Y'all can't go to breakfast together because y'all men. Y'all can't have a drink together because y'all men. Like, y'all can't cry because y'all men. And it's like 75% of the suicides are men.
Was it you that posted that yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I was reading a post about that. I wasn't sure who it was. Now that you said that, makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like being somebody that dealt with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts myself. As a man, you have 5 male friends. You look like, dang, are any of my friends going through this too, and just not talking about it? So I take pride in being like, why I talk about it so much. You ask me, talk about however much you're comfortable with. I'm comfortable with it all. I have to be, because it's like, I don't know who else is dealing with the same thing and just holding it in, bottling it in. Because, there's people I look up to that I didn't know they were dealing with that, but just the fact that they had the courage to step out and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm like, I deal with that too. I didn't know superstars, NBA players, musicians, musical artists, even regular, like, people I admire in my community telling me, like, I felt that tingling, I felt that, but I didn't know what it was. You taught me what that was. By going through what you was going through, all the posts you did, you talking about it, being so open about it, it made me go research some stuff. I went to the doctor and I found out this. And it's like, that's enough for me. Just the fact that I was able to tell my story pushed you to change something in your life, or helped you in some way. So I feel like the people around me were a big part of that. Just wanting to spread that knowledge, spread that information. Like, I know what helped me, what made me feel better. I don't know what you're dealing with, but this is how I dealt with what I was dealing with. Maybe it'll help you too. Yeah.
So do you think that it was you progressing on your own that made you want to talk to other people and share your story, or was it you learning from other people and sharing your story that helped you to feel better?
I would say it was trial and error more so. Like, I've never talked about it before, so why not? Let's see what happens when we talk about it. Let's see how the world reacts when it's not, oh, I didn't know you stuttered, but I picked up on it. It's, oh, I know he stuttered because he told me. Taking that whole thought process of taking the worry from my mind of is this person here because, or has this person caught on? That all these questions, has this person caught on? Oh, did they catch that stutter? Are they staring at my mouth because I stutter? Is that scrunch on their face because they're waiting on me to finish the sentence? Like, if you know I stutter, I don't care. Now you know why I'm having these long pauses. You know why I'm doing all this. If you're gonna stand here, I know you want to have the conversation. All these questions aren't bubbling in my mind of, damn, am I wasting their time? Am I holding their hair or not dragging them in by my stuttering? So, I think that was very, it was trial and error. But once I felt it working, it was like, okay, let me just keep doing that. Let me see how that goes, until it didn't, and I just tried something else.
Because you mentioned earlier about going through some of your self-doubts and just the problems with stuttering and your speech. Is it properly called a speech impediment?
Yeah, speech impediment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And going through all of that, do you think that you got anxiety and
Actually, let
depression?
me run that back because I'm gonna go home and get cussed out. It's a speech deficiency.
It's a speech deficiency. Okay. So it's your speech deficiency. Why is it not called an impediment?
Because impediment feels like it stops you from doing something. It doesn't stop you from feeling impeded.
Okay. Okay. I got you. Now I'm educated. I want to make sure.
I get that a lot too. It's deficiency.
Okay, cool.
Right. It's been an impediment all my life.
So do you feel as though your speech deficiency played into your anxiety and depression? Or do you feel like other life factors caused that?
Other life factors for sure, but speech for sure. Because it's like, I'm worried about a conversation 2 or 3 hours before we even have it. I'm thinking about the conversation the day before we get there. We have an assembly. I'm thinking about all the interactions I gotta do. Me sitting, who am I gonna sit by? What are we gonna talk about? What am I gonna do when I'm walking through people and have to say excuse me? What am I gonna do when I'm walking up by the people on the stage? Do I talk to who's in the crowd? Do I wave to them? Do I look at anybody? Do I do anything? Do I just walk straight? What do I do? So yes, I feel like it puts me on edge because it feels like, because I stutter, it felt like all eyes were on me at all times anyway. So everything was, how do I do it without making a fool of myself? Like, do I look cool doing this? Do I look okay doing that? Like, I cared a lot about the outside view.
That one thing made you question everything else.
Yeah, because it brought so much attention. Like, it's your identity. Like, people remember you based off, like, that's something that sticks with them. Like, I know if I have a conversation, it's gonna take me 20 minutes because he stutters. Like, that's gonna stick with you. So it feels like if I have one conversation with you that's really bad, and it's just because I'm having a bad day, we might not never talk again. And that was, my thought process. Like, it made people not want to talk to me because you're sitting there, you're fidgeting, you're watching my face, you're looking around, I'm noticing all this, like, every single time. So,
And you noticing all that because you experience it so much.
You're
already so conscious.
Yeah, about everything. So, yeah, I feel like it definitely played a part, 100% played a part in that. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned speech pathologist earlier. That's something that you sought out for yourself?
No, it just how the cards dealt. We grew up together. Like, I've known her since.
Oh, so it's not like a doctor for you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody very important to me. So.
Okay, so they were able to help you out through the things you were going through already.
It wasn't like, I'm their patient or anything. It was just like, just in talking, like, oh, I didn't know, like, it just so happened that's what her passion in life was. And it just so happened that I stuttered. So it was like, well, this is something that you...
Ain't he good?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. So I was like, it's funny because it's like, there's a certain time she'll talk to her, she's like, you're not stuttering a lot today. And I'm like, why is that? She's like, so this is what stuttering is. This is what it is. And it's like a little more in depth. There's a lot of information there. So we talk about it all the time, like how I feel, what it makes me feel, what I think, stuttering in general. And it's just like, just to have that, I guess, access to that much information about something that has plagued me my whole life. It's like, that is truly a blessing, I would say.
So it's something like, from what you're saying earlier, it sounds like between the self-awareness and finding somebody that specializes specifically in what you're going through, those are the two biggest sectors that really has. Is there anything else that's helped you to deal with your depression and anxiety?
Not wanting other people to feel it. Like, I know what it feels like to be that low, to not want to be on this earth, and to, like, literally be on the edge of, like, going through it or not. Like, I've stood on the top of a mountain, literally, and asked myself, do you want to be here, yes or no? If not, we can jump right now. Like, that was a real conversation I had with myself on the top of a mountain, like a literal top of a mountain. So it's like,
you went like by yourself, you with other people?
Carter's Mountain, no. I went by myself. That was a crazy day. But yeah, like, not wanting anybody else to be there, like not wanting anybody else to feel that alone.
What made you decide to walk away?
I wanted to be here. I asked myself, and I was like, my thing was, if I want to be here, then we're not doing this again. Like, I don't want to be here because you do. So, just because it's hard don't mean we got to quit. Don't mean, take yourself out. It just means find a way to deal with it. So, um, honestly, not that I didn't care if it would hurt everybody around me. It's just I knew there was still stuff I had to experience. There was stuff I had to do. And it felt like I was robbing people of a role model, of something to look up to, of an example, of a great story, of he dealt with a lot of things that I dealt with, and I know I can make it through because he did too. I felt like it wouldn't be fair to all the people that were in my corner rooting for me to quit on them, like to give up, because they ain't give up on me. So who am I to give up on myself, in a sense? So it was like I asked myself, like, hey, if we want to be here, we want to be here. That's it. Like whatever we go through from here on, it may be hard, it may be tough, but we gonna be here. So
so from that point on, was it a constant, concrete, strong?
No, I never let. I still, no, it was never like that. But it's still up and down. But I never let myself get that low.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I'll scream for help before it gets that bad. Yeah. Like back then, it was like I didn't really like asking for help because I felt like it made me look weak. But it's like I know when I need help, I don't care who's looking. I need help. Help me. So yeah. I won't let it get back to that point. So that's why I say if I say yes today, we never coming back here again. And what I meant was like I'm never getting this love to where I feel like that. So yeah, I asked for help in a heartbeat. Like, hey bro, it's been like now, and also like speaking of friends, like being open and honest with your friends, letting them know what you do, what you go to, because it was a 1 week like this year where I didn't really talk to any of my friends, and like they like conversion. Sterling, Sterling back at home, yeah. He was like, "Hey, well, I was 2 hours from driving to your house just to see if you was okay, because like we ain't heard from you in a week. You ain't say nothing in the group, like ain't nobody heard from you. So like we was about to pull up, yeah. And I was like, yeah, bro, I just been going through it, This was a rough week, and he was like, yeah, because I had told him beforehand, like everybody knows what I go through. He was like, I had a feeling, but I was just gonna see if you was gonna say something or not. But I was definitely coming to check on you. So it's just good to have that safety net. I would say that village, you can turn to. Like I don't have to hide. I don't have to sugarcoat these people. I can tell them what it is, and they're get the help that I need. They understand. They get it. So.
I got you. Well, what's that? So, what helped you to? Because you said that first you didn't want to get help. Yeah, probably that a lot of men have of not seeking help for fear of feeling weakness or any kind of emotions like that. And now you are the opposite, where you go out screaming for it. Mm-hmm. You have a safety net of friends and people around you. A lot of people, they have the problem because they'll push people away. They'll keep people at a distance, even though they know that they need help. They'll still keep people away. How was that a big problem for you?
Yeah, it's I think it's just a defense mechanism. Just because I feel like depression and anxiety makes you question everything. It makes you question who's really here for me. Are you really my friend? Like it makes you question literally everything. Oh, they said this in a certain tone today. Maybe like they don't like me anymore, or maybe they hate me, and it's somebody you've known literally all your life. And it's like they didn't say it in any like weird way, mean anything by it. It's just because of what you're going through. Your mind took it as this, and now it sits you on a rabbit hole of, do they hate me? Do I not like them? Have they, now you questioning your whole 12 years of friendship, like your whole life of friendship. Like, oh, they said I was ugly when we was 3. Or have they hated me my whole life? So, it's just, it's just a rabbit hole of you just get lost in it, and you can really lose yourself in it. And I think why I flipped so hard is because you realize, like, when you're drowning, you can't save yourself. You can't swim. Like you need somebody, you need that hand reaching out. You need to be able to grab something to pull you out. So, as much as you want to be this independent person, I did it on my own. I did all that. Nobody in the history of humans has ever done that. Everybody has somebody's opened the door for you. Somebody put you in a room with this person. You were able to complete this opportunity because this person made it happen. Like everybody needs help. So, if I can get help in my business, if I can get help, my car breaks down, I can get help. I'm sick, I can go to the doctor. Why not get help for my mind? Like, why not figure out how to make me okay for myself? Like, how do I make myself something that like I fall in love with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that was something big. Like I didn't like who I was because I didn't know who I was. So once I became aware of who I was, it was like, okay, how do I love this person? The things I don't like, how do I learn to love them? And it was like going through it. Like, just, why don't you like that about yourself? What makes you this way? Why do you do those things? Now that you know, are you going to change it, or are you going to keep going with it? So I feel like that's the real was a real turning point. Like I want to be better for me because then in turn I can be better for the next person. I can make sure the next person doesn't go through this because I can turn around and say, hey, I've made it through those woods. This is how. You may not do it exactly like that, but you know, these are some things you can do, you can try. So that was it. Just wanting to be in a space where I could show somebody else how to navigate through that as well. So
I think the illustration that you used, when you said about drowning, somebody reaching out and helping, I think that's really fitting because
you can thrash, you can fight as much as you want.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
People say that oftentimes when people are doing that, when people come out to save them and to help them, they'll end up hurting whoever's trying to help them. Yeah. Because you end up thrashing and hitting them, and you can cause your rescuer to get hurt or to drown with you. And it just kind of, I think in illustrations all the time, and it just reminded me of sometimes when you're helping somebody and they're going through different life problems, whether or not it be mental problems or physical problems, whatever the case may be, and they're thrashing like that.
Yeah.
And you can end up hurting somebody else because you're not taking care of yourself or because you're going through something so difficult that when people do come to try to help you, you end up hurting them.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I think perspective, like one of the things that got me out of it was, I had a really good friend. We were talking one day, and I was like, "Hey, Java, you know what I think it is? I think of it like an arrow." And she was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Before an arrow flies forward at the fastest pace, like known to man, sometimes where does it have to go?" And I was like, "You have to pull it all the way back." So it made me look at like depression, all the anxiety. Like this is just my drawback. This is the pullback. Like after this, who knows where I'm gonna go? Who knows how far I can go once I make it through this? I just have to make it through. So in the sense of an arrow, the more things that hit me, the more things I was dealing with, I just feel like this is just pulling it back even more. So I'm gonna fly. Once I get out of this, I'm gone. I'm gonna fly. So you know that kind of pushed me just to be like, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. Go forward. Like I've been going backwards, yes, but hey, the only way to go is forward from here. So I think that was really the perspective change. Like I need to get better because I want to prepare for all that. Like I know it's back there. I can make it through this. But what's up there? I want to be good enough back here so when I'm thrown up there, it's like, I'm here. Hey, I've been waiting on this. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. Just wanting to be in the space to be able to receive all of the things that I wanted. So
that's what's up, man. That's a beautiful thing.
Appreciate you for having me. Yes, sir. Great conversation.
Yes, sir. Anytime, man. I appreciate you actually coming out here and sharing your story. And I know that I know that it took a lot for you to come out here.
Not at all. It's like I said, bro. I feel like if we don't talk about it, then you know there's somebody watching that's gonna watch this and be like, I felt that too. I've dealt with that too. But that doesn't happen if we don't have this conversation. So
normally I have a little bit of an outro, but that's actually the exact outro that I normally give or that I would want to give. So whether or not you can relate to or whether or not you need these things, hopefully somebody that you know may need these things or can relate to these things. So hope that you share it, hope that you enjoy it, hope that you can just educate yourself on other people's perspectives, other people's ways of life, so that it can better improve yourself, so it can improve the lives of people around you. I appreciate Jalen Lewis coming on here.
Thank you.
Also, hit up JL Management Group on Instagram as well for some social media marketing assistance.
Sir, social media management and marketing. Do it all.
We'll get that done as well. And I appreciate you all for coming by on Insight Discussions to check us out. You can check above for some more videos on the Insight Discussions playlist. It's probably the easiest way to navigate everything on here, from sports to music and conversations such as this, or some solo videos by myself going over self-development. So I appreciate you all for coming out. I appreciate Jalen.
Make
Sure,
it
my
happen,
brother.
for sure.
For lifelong. What we going on?
Go back
About
for
almost
sure.
20 years now.
Yeah,
That's-
definitely been 20 for sure.
Ooh, that's crazy. We can make it 20.
Definitely.
I appreciate it. We'll see y'all next time.
Be kind.